This video, as well as the next two videos actually, will be covering the topic of assertive communication for the Art of Discussion class, part of the Academy for Lifelong Learning on Cape Cod. Assertive communication results in a very satisfying exchange between two individuals. I just want to read a statement for you regarding assertive speaking. Assertive speaking is the skill of clearly stating thoughts without violating the rights of others. It results in an improved self-esteem, decision-making without alienation. Assertive speaking replaces aggressiveness or complaining, which does not highly regard the listener, and passiveness, where feelings are held back and self-esteem is lowered. Assertive speech includes my perspective, my feelings, and my wants. And assertive speaking is important, but not more important than assertive listening. So this video is going to be beginning with the skill of listening and listening assertively. All listening intends to understand, learn from, and enjoy others. I'll say it again. To listen is to have a desire to understand, to learn from, and to enjoy the person that I am with. Without listening, people become alienated and lonely. First step in listening to someone is to prepare to do so. Listening is not as natural as is speaking. So it doesn't hurt to say to oneself, okay, this is my time to listen. And then listening involves giving full attention to the other's feelings and desires and asking clarifying questions. Listening includes oftentimes some out loud responses, so there's a little bit of back and forth that's going on here. The following serve to block the listening process. So there are many things going on when people think I am listening. You think I'm listening? I'm not really listening. What am I doing? I've got a list of things here. Sometimes people fake listening by dreaming. They're giving eye contact, but they're not paying attention at all. I know a young man who was at a core meeting at a school where they were talking about his performance in school, and all of a sudden he burst out laughing. And they asked him, "What are you laughing?" There are 6 professionals all around the table. And he was talking about a funny cartoon he saw the night before, and he explained the cartoon to everybody. So our minds can be a mile away while someone else is talking. Another problem is identifying. As soon as you start talking, I cut you off and I tell you about an experience that I had that is similar. Listening has stopped at that point. I've terminated the listening and I have now started talking myself, because I would much rather talk and relate and share than hear whatever it is you have to say. Not good. Thirdly, rehearsing the next remark. You may be speaking and you're not done speaking, and I'm thinking about what I'm going to say and what I am going to say next. And in doing so, anything you say from that point forward is not going to register at all, because I've already decided how I'm going to be responding to what you just said, depending upon what I just thought about before what you had to say is completed. Advising. Advising is not listening. I should say advising before it is appropriate. Sometimes there's listening to understand what the problem is that needs to be solved. Sometimes there's listening just for the sake of understanding. Assume it is the latter unless you know it is the former. Just listen for the sake of understanding. I'm not looking for advice. I just want you to listen. Okay. Yeah. Derailing. That's changing the subject. Someone is talking about a subject. I don't like that subject. So you know what? I'm going to change the subject. It's derailing. I don't want to talk about that. Maybe someone is talking about their surgery on their cornea. And rather than being assertive and saying, I'm finding this difficult to listen to, just say, hey, did you hear about what was on the front page of the newspaper today or something? That's derailing. Listening had ended. There are other things I could add to this. There is judging, placating, debating, all of which stop the listening process. So, for listening to be complete, the listener has to lodge in with the speaker that they got what they said. Very fair, even advisable to say, if I heard you correctly, you just said ... and give it back to them. No, I wasn't trying to communicate that at all. What I was trying to say was ... All right. I was listening, but I didn't get it. The listening process was incomplete. It was inaccurate. I never know it's accurate until you confirm that what I heard was what you meant to communicate. So, summarize or paraphrase what was just heard and see if it lines up. Ask for clarification. Ask for clarification until a whole message is received. Sometimes when someone is telling a story, there are major chunks that are not included. In other words, I don't have the full picture. You want me to understand? I don't understand. And I don't understand because question 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's part of listening at this point. Even more so than dialogue, it's part of listening. Listening is an essential component of argumenting and argumentation, which is coming up a little bit later on. Argument, as we've already stated, is a very good word. But in order for an argument to take place, there has to be good, thorough listening. Otherwise, we just might end up with nothing more than bickering. Let's move on to assertive speaking for a few minutes. Assertive speaking, the skill of clearly stating thoughts without violating the rights of others. Communication problems often consist of incomplete messages. A whole message includes the following: my observations, what I think about it, how I feel about it, and what I want done. You put all 4 of those together and you have a whole message. Let me just give a quick example here of an incomplete message. One spouse shows up at 7 o'clock in the evening for dinner. And the spouse at home says, "You're late again." An incomplete message. There's all kinds of things going on behind the scenes. There is frustration. There is disappointment. The food is cold. Worry about where you've been. But none of that was said. One thing was said: "You're late again." I mean, the person knows they're late. You're not telling them anything new. This is not good communication at this point. Better to say, "I was hoping you'd be home at 5 o'clock because that was when dinner was ready to be served. I know sometimes you'll be running late, but I would appreciate a phone call when you will be. Honestly, I was starting to get a little worried." There you go. Or even add, "I get frustrated when you're not home at the normal dinner time without any notice." Or, "I got angry after about a half an hour had gone by and you weren't here." That would all be good communication. Everything is on the table. Nothing is being withheld. Opinions without facts, demands without feelings, feelings without wants, all communicate an impartial message. The communicator says, "Oh, you seem grumpy." What was that? That was a judgment. The person maybe has a question. How are you feeling? What's behind this? But no, what comes out is a declaration about the person. It's a you statement. And by the way, you statements are to be avoided unless necessary. You seem grumpy. better, and grumpy is such a loaded word as well. Better to say, how's the day going? I'm getting the impression maybe it's not going so well. Tell me what's been going on. Or affirm the person in some way. That might be helpful. So, assertive speaking and assertive listening. Much more to say. In the coming video, we will cover the rules of self-expression and how to respond to criticism, but we'll end it this time. Assertive communication, part 1 is over.